Hello.
Hey Stefano, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. We came so far.
I know, here we are 3 episodes in, right?
Yep.
Who would have thought we'd make it this far?
Cool. You wanna start this up?
Yeah. So I wanted to share with you a discussion of a notebook that you pointed out to me. This is another one from Dave, but he's sort of a miracle worker with amazing Solve It dialogues to
Oh,
share.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, I need to stop
Um,
sharing on my side. And yep, you need to do
so as
it.
long as he keeps making
Oops.
amazing dialogues, we should just keep sharing them.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a good thing.
and here we go. All right. Can you see that all
Yep,
right? Yeah,
yep.
okay. Um so you pointed this one out to me and it interested me for two reasons. Um but let me say what it is. So first reason was it's just the content of it, right? It's all about dynamic data visualization and I've always have a soft spot in my heart for data exploration and data visualization tools. Um yeah, I don't get to play with them as much as I want to actually do like analysis, but the whole like area, the kind of like intersection of like data and design and analysis really appeals to me. And he was inspired by something he saw from a product called Marimo, which is quite cool. They have a let's see, is it Marimo.com? No, it's not. They have
Yeah, push it.
a notebook product
Yeah, this
which
one. IO.
is uh, has a lot of very cool demos of instantly creating kind of canned um, interactive visualizations where you like load up data, you do some analysis, and then you have an artifact you can give to somebody, and they can like move a control around, and
Yeah,
the
I see a
visualization
demo
updates.
of this in the AML eval course,
Yeah,
where what maybe the founder of Marimo itself was like creating live dynamic evaluation, digging in
yeah,
the
it's very
data. That
cool.
was awesome. Yeah, yeah, really awesome.
It's an awesome trick, and it's a great kind of presentable artifact to make something that helps with an explanation of a technical topic. It's also something Wolfram Notebook has been able to do for a while, but like getting it to work really well is hard. And then Dave shared this dialogue of doing it in SolveIt. Um, so let me just show the thing that's most impressive about this dialogue. So he talks about using two libraries, Altair and Plotly. Maybe he mentions Polars. Those are the ones that Marimo uses, but he talks about using Altair. And Altair is a graphics library that, unlike Matplotlib, from the beginning was designed to be like super interactive. So it'll like not just give you a rendered image, but a thing that you can interact with to explore the data. And so if you check out the URL here, this is not a live notebook running on um, the Solvit service. This is share.solvit.com. So this is a static asset. And the the kind of miracle here is like, okay, this is a static asset, but look, it's got like all this amazing interactivity that's right there. And I can like, look at the source. And he's got really complicated things here too. Like, all right, now it's going to pick out some of these. Um, and it gets more and more impressive. Like here, it's like, okay, pick out some, and then the histogram on the right is like automatically updating to show like what's been picked out. There's some that are, so here, like there's a band in the bottom, and then you use that to pick out the ones at the top, so you're getting like a kind of master detail zoom view. There's at the very end quite a impressive one. Let's see if it's working here. I think it should be, where it's a MNIST data, the famous handwriting recognition model.
Yeah, the first image was that one. Yeah,
Yeah, and here
classic.
you can
Disney on a
select
on
like,
a on an MNIST.
yeah. So the here, just to for people who haven't seen it before, MNIST is a classic machine learning image recognition data set, which was handwritten signatures that were done like decades ago, and for a long time it was hard to interpret them. But as GPUs improved and our understanding of neural network training got better, it got to where now you can like very quickly train a classifier that can detect these handwritten images. So what we're seeing here with these colored blobs is different handwritten digits, like the digit 8, the digit 7, but they're all a little different because it's all handwritten. And so those fit into like blobs. Every individual point here is one image. Um, Sounds very abstract, but what's great about visualizations is it makes it concrete. So here you select some of these. I'm getting some of the orange ones and the green ones. And then here, if I recall, you can actually select particular ones. So here I'm getting a lot of the digit 1 in this histogram and a lot of the digit 9. And here in the bottom, you can actually see the selected digits. Like it's
Wow.
like pulling out the actual data samples, which are images that were made of some human being's handwriting.
Yeah.
So if you were just not
And
to
again,
use,
you say that
yeah,
this is not connected to a server, that everything is happening on JavaScript at the end of the day. It's everything like preloaded into the like source code, JavaScript source code of these exact notebook.
yeah. So this is like a file that you could just dump on a dumb server like GitHub
Exactly.
Pages, and then people could browse around in this data. And I don't know
Yeah,
if
and you
you
can like you can
did you
make
ever
like
try to build
interactive
anything like
visualization
this?
for people. Yeah.
Yeah, did you ever try to build anything like this, like from scratch?
I play around a little bit with Altair, and yeah, there's an interesting stuff using Altair that, given that any data you actually use for your plot gets saved inside the JavaScript itself, you have a sort of limit of maximum number of points you can put inside, like 100,000, something like that. And
Right.
the guys of Altair actually made a dedicated package, an additional package of Flash Flux, something like that, that lets you delegate the computation to your actual Python code. So you can have like a million points, like a classic example. You have a lot of rows you want to interact with. In that case, it's no more all in JavaScript thing. It's going to be like something that you
Yeah.
need to have a server, but it even lets you in a transparent way deal with like a huge data frames of data or stuff like that. And this is awesome. I think it's a pretty complicated to get to an Altair combination of figures, or I forgot the name they use, to combine all these three, four pieces together.
Yeah, he
But
walks through it. Like he has all the code here for it.
yeah,
So I haven't used Altair much, but like a lot of what I mean, obviously, Dave putting it together is what results in this artifact that's cool to look at. And I want to talk about a SolveIt aspect of it. But um, what I meant was like, have you ever tried to build something like this not using Altair? Like tried to dynamically build a data visualization where you click on a bit of it, it goes to the data. Because I worked on one kind of doing it from scratch when I worked at McKinsey a long time ago. It was an iPad app where you could load in data and then
yeah,
if you wanted to zoom into it, you'd do like pinch gestures. This was on the iPad. And if you wanted to do different kinds of queries, the idea was all of the data analysis grammar would be translated into gestures. It is hard, man. It's hard. It's like a lot of
yeah.
interactivity just to like have like controls and associate the data with the visualization. So
And
it's
reacting to any change when you touch this, you touch
yeah,
that. Yeah, of course, I
just
know.
as a
Yeah,
piece of
that's
UI
the
engineering, like what Altair does is very cool. Um, so but what amazed me here is like, okay, how do you do this like in SolveIt? Because we're not even looking at a thing that's running on the server. We're looking at it. And so I opened up his dialog, which you can do. So now this is his dialog but running on my server. And he kind of just says he kind of runs through this as an example of here's how you use Altair. Like here's how you install Altair. Here's yeah, what are these like pip install commands. And then he's like, here's how you build an Altair chart. And he just says, okay, here's your data frame, here's your chart. But he doesn't actually explain what I found to be the hard part of this, which is everything he's doing here. Because this is the magic that lets you put it into SolveIt or into a notebook context. Um, so I wanted to point out this bit to you. Are you familiar with this?
yep.
Have you seen this magic? Yeah. So this is the kind of thing where whenever I saw it before, I would say like, well, I'm glad someone figured that out. I got to copy it because I don't know how it works. And now you can often get away with just asking an AI to do it. But I did like a mini like research project for myself over the last few days, and I figured out like how all these pieces work. So now I can understand it. And so here's my very kind of short summary of like everything that's happening here that allows you to like put this asset into like not just a live notebook, but a kind of static artifact. Um,
Yeah,
and it's
you
a
are
kind of
actually encoding the thing and then converting to base64 like a binary web version of the thing and injecting inside the iframe is
Yeah, well, there's three layers there's four layers. No, wait, there's four layers of encoding going on, which is why if you hadn't seen this before, you'd be a very unnatural human being if you
yeah,
just like sit down and type it. So let's go through all the four layers at a time. So the first layer is like the whole context of a SolveIt notebook, or it would be the same for a Jupyter notebook or any kind of computational notebook environment that works with an IPython underlying layer. And that's what you're seeing when you see this call to HTML. So this HTML function here is one that he's importing, I imagine, from IPython. Yeah, there's IPython display HTML. And what this does is it creates a HTML object that has the repra HTML function on it. So this is basically just being given a string, and this thing here is just an object that has a function called repra HTML, which when it's called returns that string. That's really all this does. But the reason you need to do that is because deep in the guts of SolveIt, there's a layer where there's a kind of object that is the final value when you evaluate a code cell, like this whole dialog message we call a code cell. And if that final value is an object that has repra HTML, then that gets called. And then the SolveIt front end is told, hey, bro, here's HTML. Just stick it right into the notebook. So that's the first part. This is like the magic step to say, I have HTML. I want it just to get inserted inline into the notebook. That's like,
You're injecting this iframe with all the content inside your like web page.
yeah,
Or
well, we haven't even got to the fact that it's an iframe yet, but that's true. That is what's happening. So we could even see it here if we
yeah, I
pop
was looking
in.
at the HTML node there was an iframe, so I would,
Yeah. If I get all this junk out of the way to look at the
yeah,
DOM, where'd you go? Um,
yeah, exactly.
yeah, there's
So
actually this is not it, but so this is a different part of it.
yeah,
It'll
it's at the bottom,
be
I think,
higher
but
up.
yeah.
Yeah, it'll be something like this block. But let's not go too deep. So that's the first layer of wrapping. And then the second layer of wrapping is he puts all of his content in an iframe. So that means that the HTML that gets injected into the notebook is bounded by a like iframe element. Um, and as near as I can tell, iframes are the only way, if you have like a coherent body of web content, to stick it into another body of web content and not have them mess each other up.
Yeah.
Like the web has like 8 million kinds of complicated technology, but there's only one reliable technology that creates a wall so that this thing doesn't mess up with this thing. Most programming languages and environments, that's the thing you get for free everywhere. I define this function, it's not going to mess up that function. This variable doesn't talk to that variable. Not the web. And the web is just this crazy soup, and they only give you one wall construct, really, which is the iframe. So he knew to like put everything in the iframe. And then in the iframe, this is where it goes a little crazy. Uh, Source is normally what you use to specify a URL. Like you'd say, hey, go to this other website, right? But and so usually when you see source, the URL you see starts with HTTP, which we know means like go to another website, right? Um, but here it's data. Have you done much with data URLs yourself?
Not that much. Usually it's just the software itself that writes this for me, but yeah, I got the point.
Yeah, so data URL is like it's like this magic kind of URL where instead of it being a pointer to say go somewhere else and get it, it's saying,
It
"Hey,
is.
I've got the stuff for you right here. It's right here in the string, so you don't need to go to another server." It's
It's
like a
actually embedding this and not referencing it into
yeah,
the
it's not that's exactly the right word. It's not referencing it, it's embedding it. So now we're like 3 layers in. The first layer was wrap it in an HTML Python object. The second layer was that Python object is conveying HTML that'll wrap it in an iframe element. The third layer is that iframe element refers to a URL, but the URL actually is not a reference to another location. It's going to say, hey, I'm going to embed this content. Here it says, this is the kind of content I'm going to embed. And then here comes like layer number 4 saying, oh, I'm embedding it as base 64. And base 64 is, as people might know or not know, a way you can take any string and then embed it as a solid wad of ASCII characters, like alphanumeric characters without Unicode stuff in them.
escaping everything properly,
Right.
such as and not to break the things up.
Yeah.
So
So when he's passing in the B64 variable here, that B64 variable is the thing that was base 64 encoded from what? From HTML content, again, that he got from the Altair library. So Altair library gives you the chart object. You say, Altair library, make that into HTML. And then you say, hey, I want that HTML base 64 encoded. And then you say, I want that base 64 encoded HTML embedded in a data URL. And then you say, I want the iframe source attribute to use that data URL. And then you say, I want this HTML object to be initialized with the string that represents the iframe element that has the source attribute, that has the data URL, that has the base64 encoded version of the HTML that is the chart. So there's like so many onion
Yeah,
layers.
yeah, that's like a
Yeah.
onion of onion things, and yeah, but this is like an interesting trick. I think even like Plotly does the same that they created. It's like a Python driving the creation of JavaScript and HTML code behind the scene, and so that's like it's running on
Yeah.
all your browser in the JavaScript domain then.
Yeah, but I look at this and I feel like this is the sort of thing where a lot of people would like to know how to like put an interactive static chart into a notebook, but
Yeah,
until you've seen these three lines, like you're gonna have a hard time um, guessing it from scratch because there's a lot of like pieces that are being assembled. But then once you see it, you're like, okay, I just need to make a note of that.
that's cool. So, and how you can make like that super complex one with like one reference the other, because I think that everything should happen in the JavaScript space. So when you click something, it's JavaScript is aware of that click
Yeah,
and move to
right,
the
right.
other.
So this is a
Yeah,
good
make the simple
example.
one.
Yeah, so this one he has two different charts, and the kind of useful and cool trick is that they're connected to each other. You do a selection operation in one chart, and then the other chart updates. So you might think, oh my God, that's going to make it, so much harder. We have all these layers of embedding. But and I noticed that, and I was having that thought. But yeah, when I look at it, that's not the case because uh, Altair does all that work for you. Altair has the notion of a brush, points, bar. You stick your points and your bar together into a combined thing, and then it's exactly the same magic trick to embed it all.
Awesome.
So that's cool. So really
Yeah.
what this tells me is like Altair library is super cool. And if I wanted to
Yeah,
create
look how you
a,
make two things side by side just to pipe in them one next to the other. I remember like, um, yeah, it's a really, really interesting and powerful thing, and create this super interactive visualization. And yeah, can you go back 1 second to the last example you just showed? It was an interesting bit to show is like how you get the selection to be active as something that notify the
oh yeah,
bar
how you set
chart.
up the callback.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know actually.
I think it's
Let's have a
add
look
param
here.
brush is this one. Add
So
params brush. And
so
this
brush
brush is
must
the
represent,
selection.
yeah, the
And
things that
the
are
points
selected.
has a parameter. And this is same transform filter, use the same brush. So this brush element here. Oh, I'm not showing. Sorry. This brush thing is happening
Hmm.
here. You adding as a parameter here, and you adding as a filter here. So this is the connection. And probably behind the scene, this is happening that is writing some JavaScript code that when something is clicked, apply this filter. There's some like a reactive, I forget the name of the pattern, things that lets you do
Yeah.
the modification of the chart. And so it's nice. It's a thinking this way, it's a similar to what Fuzzy HTML does. Fuzzy HTML is wrapping HTML and JavaScript in a simple DSL written in Python. And he's
Yeah.
kind of this Altair is kind of doing the same thing here. Is like abstracting away all the complexity to I think that if we take a look at the what is the HTML combined to HTML content, if we take a look at that HTML content, it's like a 200 lines, including data and including JavaScript and including all the other things. And in reality, we're driving these 200 compile JavaScript code with like few 10, 20
Yeah.
lines of Python. So it's the Python is abstracting the things away and using Python as like a way to control the generation of like the JavaScript. That's awesome.
Although one thing I mean, we should finish up because I think we're a little past time, but one thing I look at when I see something like this is, has this actually abstracted anything or is it just made it shorter? Because to actually comprehend this, like there's like four levels of concepts that are right there. And in my mind, an abstraction is something that takes you from like four concepts and gives you one concept. So I don't see a lot of, when I look at this, I don't see a lot of abstraction. I see a lot of compression, but it strikes me as
Yeah, yeah,
being
yeah. It's not
lexical
really changing
compression
the meaning.
rather
It's
than,
trying to
yeah,
wrap the boilerplate into something. Yeah. At the end of
Yeah.
the day, even on the JavaScript, you will probably see the brush idea pointing to some place when it's reacting to that and that. But
Yeah.
it's way
So my
easy to understand in this way. It's
so
like super summary. Exactly. The Python is the super summarized, the pseudocode version of all that JavaScript.
yeah. So I guess if one created a function in my mind that just took a thing like combined, like a function that said,
Yeah,
render Altair plot, and then
of
you never
course.
knew these things existed, then that would like be the abstraction. But anyway, I think we're past 15, so we should wrap this one up.
Yeah, I think I didn't take the time this time, so yeah, let's do it. Okay,
All right.
yeah, for the next time, I'm gonna present one Alex Kelly's SQL notebook, like SQLite
Okay.
notebook, that he's gonna present like three different way to interact with the LLM with the SQL database. Pretty interesting. So yeah, let's do it the
All
next time.
right. Till next time.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
bye, Alexis.